Hey, welcome to episode 3 of the Taking L's podcast. We are so pumped that you're back. We're so pumped you're here. I'm Dillon.
I'm Braylon. We made it. Episode 3. Here we go. Hey, we just want to say a big thank you for taking time out of your day. These podcasts come out on Monday. I have no idea what day it is for you in the future world, but thank you for taking time to listen to us. Again, we don't think that we have nearly at all the answers, if any answer. We don't even think that we're experts in life, leadership, or laughing. There's people that do all three of those things way better than we do.
Way better.
We're just kind of two guys that are living life to the fullest, and we're trying our best to really kind of just embrace this idea of being the best people we can, embrace this idea of everyday leadership, and also realizing that along the way, we're going to fail. We're going to lose. We're going to take some L's. And we just thought, why not laugh at ourselves why we do that? So that's why we're having these conversations.
Absolutely. So if you're new to the podcast, by the way, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, go to YouTube, subscribe, follow us, do whatever you need, give us a rating, whatever you want to do. Honestly, we're just pumped you're listening.
Even if you've listened to the first 2 episodes on podcast, right? If we've just been in your ears, maybe get us in your eyes. Like, this is getting weird. But check us out on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Taking L's. It's basically us sitting in a chair doing the podcast, but you can just watch us.
But we have a really cool studio that we put effort into, like a lot of effort.
A lot of effort.
And it is awesome. And Cody, our producer, who's the man, by the way, has made everything lit. And by lit, I don't mean like it's lit. I actually mean he did a really good job with the lighting.
He did a great job with the lighting.
It's awesome. So check us out on YouTube. But hey, we are going to get into it. If you're new to the podcast, new to the show, we start with an opener where we have an opportunity to laugh.
Yep.
Did you have a question? You were like, for all the people listening, Braylon just raised his hand and waved.
I was waving. You said for all the people that are new, it was a lazy wave. I did a lazy wave that looked something you'd see in a World War II movie.
Like,
let's put it that way.
Mess something up? I was like, do you have a question? Like, hey, interruption. We could just cut and start over.
No, I was
okay.
That was a wazy. A wazy.
A wazy?
That was
a wazy.
That was a lazy wave.
Okay. Well, since Braylon doesn't have any questions, we do an opener. The goal is just to laugh, to banter, to have a good time.
It's called a segment, Dylan, not an opener. Okay. Get it right, man.
Honestly, bro.
This isn't a youth conference. We don't have openers, bro.
Cut. Braylon has questioned me too many times. We are going to restart this.
Hey, guys. Welcome to Taking L's Youth Conference. Check out this super dope opener. Make sure you're not late. Doors open at 7.
Okay, never mind. But we're going to do
Also, youth conference openers never live up to the hype, and the poor creative teams that spend like weeks and weeks on them. Something always goes wrong. The lighting guy messes up. There's too much smoke. Youth conference openers are more overhyped than Super Bowl halftime shows. You want to know the most overhyped?
I don't know if you can
most overhyped things are youth conference openers and wedding nights. The most overhyped things in America, ladies and gentlemen. And they probably last the same amount of time, about 3.5 minutes. Overhyped.
Oh my God. And they're still somehow all worse than the Super Bowl halftime show.
Hey, this last one with J-Lo and Shakira, I want to dance like that when I'm 50.
It made middle America white Christians really angry.
A lot of things do. So does youth conference openers.
So do some wedding nights.
Oh, jeez. We haven't even got into our segment yet.
We haven't even explained the goal of this podcast.
We haven't even.
But in a way, we have.
We haven't even said the episode title, and we are just already talking about my 3-minute sex life. It's like, why did I have to personalize it? There you go.
My God.
Oh, geez. Well, again, welcome to Taking L's, where we talk life, leadership, and make you laugh along the way. And we're going to do our opening segment. But before we do that, we're going to tell you the title of this episode, since we haven't done that yet. And this is titled Atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
One of my favorite definitions of leadership right now is leadership is simply taking and setting the atmosphere of the team or family or sphere you're a part of, and creating an atmosphere for that community to move forward. That's my favorite definition of leadership right
Which
now.
is brilliant.
It's just, are you, as a person, are you being intentional about creating an atmosphere for the team, your family, whatever you are a part of, creating an atmosphere to move forward? That's all leadership is. It isn't points. It isn't stage time. It isn't having a title of a manager. It isn't even having to be a parent or a grandparent or anything like that. I think a leader is just being someone who's intentional about the atmosphere and making sure that the thing you're a part of is always being able to move forward.
And we talk about this all the time, but being a leader has nothing to do with the title. It has to do with the position that you choose to hold wherever you're at in whatever season of life that you're in. So you literally could live by yourself and work at home by yourself and be completely isolated. Many of us know about isolation right now in quarantine. And you could still lead in that situation, in that scenario in life. And so that's why we're passionate about this.
If you are waiting for someone to tell you that you are a leader, you are, let me just say this, you are missing your opportunity. You are wasting a moment. Whatever role you're in, whatever seat you're sitting in, whatever season of life you are in. And we'll talk to, I'm in a unique season of life. And I have to remind myself this. I'm talking to myself today, Dylan. I am not in an occupational role of leadership, but I have to remind myself I am still a leader. I'm still in control of the atmosphere that I'm a part of. I still have a part to play. And maybe you're listening today, maybe you're watching, and you have never, ever thought of yourself as a leader. Can I tell you something? Can we tell you something? Can the goofballs at Taking L's remind you on this day in your ears right now that there is not just potential, but there is an awesome leader inside of you. And it may not look like other leaders look, but you have a massive part to play in leading and affecting the atmosphere in the world that you are a part of today. And with that said, we should jump into our opening segment. Dylan.
We just almost went full into the conversation.
We did. I mean, we've already talked about youth conference openers and wedding nights. So why not?
Yeah, why not? Well, we do have a segment that we're going to do tonight.
We do. We're doing one of our world famous drafts.
World famous. All of our 12 subscribers know all about it.
Yep. This is something that we do. It's a draft where we are going to, we throw something out there and then we draft. We take turns picking those 4 best things. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go on our Instagram, which is
at @TakingLs_podcast.
You had to think about it. I don't know what it is. That's why I tossed it over to you. That wasn't just a good little
Honestly,
host
we segment. Were like really torn originally between _pod and _podcast, which really probably doesn't matter, but it's Taking L's _podcast.
You are on the Taking L staff. You are our team admin, so I don't know these things.
Yeah. We have a great unpaid staff.
We do. It's you're looking at them.
Yeah.
So on Instagram, we'll put up, you can vote who won the draft. Dylan, tell us what we are drafting today.
Today, we are going to draft best seasonal activities, best seasonal things you can do. We love seasons. Living in Seattle, by the way, we live in one of the best places, maybe even in the world, to get all kinds of different seasons.
I agree.
Which is awesome. I love living in Seattle. And talking about atmosphere, there's a lot of different atmospheres we get to be a part of. And so we're going to do a little draft of best seasonal activities.
So we're going to go back and forth. You're going to vote.
If you don't know how draft works,
you're going to vote for whose is the best. Okay, Dylan, do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You went first in our last draft.
Okay.
So I'll go first in this draft.
Great. So Dylan, you are on the clock. We are drafting best seasonal activities to do. Here we go.
So the first seasonal activity I'd like to choose, being in spring, something I've been thinking a lot about lately.
Okay.
Something I love to do. And one of my favorite seasonal activities is in the spring. Technically, this could be in the summer. Technically, it could be beyond, but it's barbecuing. I think barbecuing is one of the most fun seasonal activities. When the 4th of July comes around, there's nothing better than getting friends and family together and like going all out and cooking way too much food and spending way too much money on too much meat and putting way too much effort into it. But barbecuing is so fun. I love barbecuing. One of my favorites. By the way, like you don't really meet too many people that you show up and you're barbecuing and they're like, oh, you're barbecuing. This sucks. Like everyone loves a good barbecue, I feel like.
Except your wife. I don't feel like your wife ever likes when
Yeah, well, my
barbecue.
wife eats about 5 things total and just rotates through them consistently.
We should do a draft of the things your wife eats, but we could only draft 5 things because that's literally it. Fries, Caesar salad, and tofu.
Except she's vegan now, so it's like the list gets smaller. So
that is true. Okay, here we go. My draft for best seasonal things. I'm going to go with, we should say that what you drafted was summer barbecuing, because barbecuing is kind of something you can do anytime, but you were speaking specifically to summertime.
yeah, sure. I was saying like spring, summer, yeah, whatever.
Okay, since you went summer, I'm going to go gingerbread making.
Ooh.
One of my favorite seasonal things to do come Christmas time. I'm not a big Christmas guy. Top 3 holidays, in my opinion, are Thanksgiving, 4th of July, and it used to be Cinco de Mayo, but now it's Easter. Okay?
Oh.
So Thanksgiving, July 4th, Easter. You get it. Those are my favorite holidays. I think that Christmas is overrated. By the time we actually get to Christmas Day, everyone's kind of over the Christmas season, all of that.
Can I just clarify, though? Would you say that Christmas season is the best season of the year? Or one of the best? Like, would you put Christmas season top 3, but Christmas Day is kind of like underwhelming?
No other holidays have seasons, though. Like, it's not like July 4th season.
Yeah, totally.
Which I wish.
Oh, God. We love the 4th of July.
We love the 4th of July.
It's
Think about if it was okay to like drink White Claws for like the 2 weeks leading up to July 4th. It was like, it's July 4th season. That'd be great.
July 4th season. Haven't worn a shirt in a week. I love it.
July 4th season. Have on my Stars and Stripes underwear every day.
July 4th season. I've played cornhole 10 times, 2 weeks in a row. Like,
July 4th season. Only eating hot dogs and hamburgers since May.
July 4th season. Just keep doing it.
We just keep going.
Oh, man. I love
jeez.
July 4th.
It's the best. Okay, so gingerbread, right? It's Christmas. Christmas Day is overrated, but in the Christmas season, one of my favorite things to do is we do this with some friends, gingerbread making competitions.
Ooh,
it's so fun. Go over to somebody's house, all get together, everyone has their gingerbread kit, and you're drinking drinks, you're having a great time, you're listening to like, Justin Bieber's Christmas album, all of the like hip Christmas music, all that stuff. And it's just it's a great time. It's a great time. You usually have like this isn't an ugly sweater party, but you have like your nice actual Christmas sweater that you're proud of.
Yep.
Got, like a hot toddy, a little like white chocolate mocha deal.
Wine.
Yeah. You get it. So that's mine.
I'm with that.
Great.
I'm with that. When I was a kid, by the way, did gingerbread house competition, and I put like too much coconut on it, but I was like insistent on eating it, and ever since then I don't like coconut.
Ooh, coconut.
Gingerbread house ruined it for me.
Coconut's one of my favorite foods.
Okay, I will go next. The second thing on my list is the fall, and it is the one sport that I put down here, but it is one of my favorite sports to play. It's my favorite sport to watch, and it is football. Football is one of the great American activities. There is fantasy.
So what's the activity that you're drafting?
I'm drafting football.
Watching it?
Everything that comes with it. I didn't know I had to like pick a certain part.
Yeah, we're drafting seasonal activities.
Oh, great. Okay. Well,
So is it watching football or playing football? Because that's going to matter for the voters.
Oh, wow. You're really putting me in a predicament because I really just want to say fantasy football, but the voters aren't going to say...
You could do that and
I'm going to go watching football because technically fantasy football would be incorporated.
It all goes together.
Football.
It all goes together.
As much as I would love to say playing football, probably do that about one time on Thanksgiving and then my hamstrings don't feel the same afterwards.
Oh, man.
But watching football is a blast. Football season is so fun. Living in Seattle, the Seahawks are a big deal, even though I'm a Raiders fan and they're trash and they can't draft. But
go Hawks!
It is football season is so fun. It's so fun going to college football games.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Everything about it, football season is the best.
The best. That's a good one. So you have summer barbecues and watching football. I have gingerbread, making gingerbread houses. My second one is going out on the boat in the summertime.
No! It was on my list.
I'll even get way more specific, okay? Inner tubing on the boat.
Oh.
Again, we live in the Seattle area. It is beautiful. There are tons of lakes around here. You thought I wasn't going to draft that?
Well, I was trying to figure out. Okay, it's okay.
Not the blackest thing I've ever done is drafted.
Yeah.
But it drafted boating because, black people don't get on boats because of slavery. You get it. But I do love being someone that has lived in the Seattle area since 2005. I was 15 years old. One of my first memories of moving from Arizona, where there is no water, not even in the sink.
Yep.
To the most beautiful city in the world, I think, is Seattle. One of my first memories being up here is a buddy took me out on his boat, and I was blown away. We were on the lake, and we went inner tubing, and I do it just about every summer, which is funny because I don't have a boat or an inner tube, but yet somehow, see, when you listen to our first episode, which is Dinner Table, and it talks about how you need to be intentional about having people that don't look like you around.
Yeah.
I have done that with rich white guys. And so I have always found myself every summer for literally the past 15 years getting close enough with a rich white guy to get out on his boat and then get on the inner tube. So there is that. So I'm going to go with inner tubing in the summer.
One of the most dangerous things I've ever done.
Oh, this is great. Story time.
We went out on 4th of July last year. My in-laws are awesome, and they have a boat, and they're really cool, and they're just like, oh, yeah, you can go drive it and whatever. Yep. So driving the boat, it's like me, Braylon, some of our friends.
Let's keep in mind that this lake, and if you're watching on YouTube, I'm using finger parentheses. This lake was more like a pond, okay? This was the smallest lake I've ever seen. It was like a koi.
Can I just pause, bro?
Pond.
These are quotes. These aren't parentheses that you do with your two fingers. They're finger quotes.
Oh man,
parentheses.
I'm doing finger question marks.
Finger parentheses.
I'm doing finger quotes. Okay, this lake that you're speaking of, that I was on the boat on the day that I thought I was going to die. We went out on literally like a place for koi fish that live.
Like they do designated fast boat time because they're just worried about too many boats getting on there at one time. And it was the most dangerous thing. I was the driver. You were. Because it's my father-in-law's boat, so I'm the only one allowed to drive it.
Yep.
And so I'm like whipping everyone around in the tube while avoiding other boats.
Yep.
And it was crazy. Like we were talking about this the other day, just how dumb that was. Like
it was one of the dumbest things I think we've done as grown adults. And we didn't even mean for it to be dumb.
No.
But as we got out there, we realized that we were one of like 60 boats on a lake that probably fits 10 boats.
It was like, just keep the boat docked, play some more cornhole, and eat some more barbecue. That's what we'll do this 4th of July.
You're up.
Okay. Number 3. Is a wintertime activity that I think everyone loves. And
I'm going to tell you to be careful when you say everyone, because if you're about to say snowboarding, you just eliminated an entire demographic.
So that's the thing. I thought about saying snowboarding, and I actually eliminated it because I realized that snowboarding is fun for about a fraction of the population, and they're basically, whatever.
Yeah.
Tubing / sledding. Can I put them all in one thing?
Yeah.
I will just say sledding.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Find me a picture of someone going down a hill on an inner tube that they just don't look happy. Like, first of all, when you talk about tubing, sledding, whatever you do, just avoid the saucers. Those are little
plastic like Ninja Turtle looking things.
That's a death trap.
Yeah.
Avoid that. Yeah. People actually don't look happy on those. They look scared. They look like they're gonna break their spine because you probably will. But if you
should never use anything you can buy from a gas station as a vessel or a vehicle. Is vessel okay? Or are you going to make fun of me?
No, that's good. That's great. Perfect. Yeah.
And you shouldn't just use anything you can buy from a gas station for under $5. You should not then ride that.
Yeah. But if you're going on like one of those big, like bouncy inner tubes, just like going down the hill, like you were just having a good time. It requires zero skill. Like anyone can do it, and it's just a blast. You don't even you just go find a random hill and you just go for it. It's so fun.
That's a good one.
Tubing.
That's a good one. I really like snow for 4 hours.
And that's what tubing is great for. You just go.
It is awesome.
Do a little tube and head back.
I'm talking for the whole year. Like you give me 4 hours of snow for the year, and if I don't get the 4 hours, I'm devastated. But then like come hour 5, 6, 7, my feet are cold, my life is interrupted, and I want the snow to go away.
That's real.
That's where I'm at.
I'm with you in that.
Okay, here we go. I have inner tubing on a boat, right? I have gingerbread making. My third one is the pumpkin patch.
Ooh.
Gotta throw out the harvest season, the fall time. Okay, your birthday's in November.
Yeah.
My birthday is in October. We are fall babies through and through.
Yep.
There's nothing better than going to the old pumpkin patch, picking a pumpkin, having a nice little pumpkin spice latte. It's great.
That's a good time.
It's a good one.
That is really good. Okay, so what are your 3 so far?
I have boating or inner tubing specifically. I have gingerbread making, and I have pumpkin patch.
Okay.
What are yours?
So I have barbecuing. Okay. I have football, more specifically watching football.
Yep.
And then I have snow tubing, sledding, that thing.
Right.
Whatever you want to call that. Okay. My fourth thing, which I'm really pumped about. I'm actually shocked you didn't take this.
Ooh.
One of my favorite things to do comes spring. It's like when spring comes in Seattle, all you want to do is go embrace the sun and take off your shirt and show off, for me, your pasty white body.
Yeah.
For you, it's a little different. But, you just like go out there and you're like, the sun, all I want to do
I'm getting so
is an
nervous.
activity in the sun, and it is volleyball.
Man.
Volleyball is so fun when you get out there and you just have a good time and you have a group of friends and you're just out there on the grass and you're just volleyballing it all around. Oh, it's a good time. Our
producer, Cody, knows my love for volleyball.
I was shocked you hadn't taken volleyball yet. Like, why'd you sleep on volleyball, bro?
I'm disappointed in myself. And on behalf of volleyball, I'd like to apologize for the fact I have failed you. And if you listen to episode 2 of this podcast, we talked about admitting when you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I am wrong in this moment. Volleyball, as you can tell, I'm emotional right now because I love this sport. I love this game. Volleyball, specifically, it's actually, and I'm embarrassed to say, again, it's like how many times I need to mention I'm a black man, but this is not one of the things that, I'm necessarily proud of as a black man, but my best sport, it's not basketball. It's not even soccer, which I played literally my entire life. My parents have put thousands of dollars into my soccer career.
Yeah.
That has failed them.
Yeah.
They don't get that money back. Wrong investment. It's like investing into like Chipotle. Volleyball is my best sport. Out of all the things I'm good at, volleyball, I'm the best. I love volleyball. So I'm going to vote for you on our podcast because
go to the poll.
You beat me to it. Okay, so recap your 4 really fast, and then I will draft my last one.
Okay, so I got barbecuing, watching football, tubing, sledding, and volleyball.
Okay, I have inner tubing on the boat in the summer. I have the pumpkin patch in the fall.
Pumpkin patch, a good one.
Great for Instagram as well, okay? I'm also excited because again, I have a 6-month-old. It's like I just say the same things every podcast. I just want you to get to know me. I want to connect with you. I want to be relatable with the people. So I have a 6-month-old, and I cannot wait to take an Instagram this fall with my son and my wife holding a little pumpkin, and like the caption will be like, "Got 2 little pumpkins this year," or something corny like that. You get it. So my last one is in the winter. In Seattle, it rains a lot. It doesn't matter if it's in the winter.
Yep.
But on a rainy, dark night in Seattle, it gets dark at around like 2:30 in the afternoon in December. Having a nice drink at night in front of the fireplace.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Nothing is better than a little fireplace and listening to the rain. I'm a big jazz fan. You throw a little Miles Davis on, go a little throwback, dim the lights a little bit, see what happens for those married people out there.
Let them know.
I'll tell you what, nothing gets the old fire burning like some fire burning, if you know what I'm saying. And that is one of just my favorite things is on a dark, wet night, you're sitting in front of the fireplace, listening to some music, having a nice drink. that is going to round up my seasonal draft.
Okay, so you've heard our draft. Yep. We're going to post on our Instagram at takingls_podcast.
That was the longest draft we ever did, but after our last podcast, I think we just needed a laugh, to be honest.
Yo, for real.
If you haven't listened to episode 2, I think it's one of the most proudest 50 minutes. I'm the most proud of that 50 minutes.
It was a great.
A lot of things I've ever been a part of.
It was a really good.
I couldn't say that sentence, Cody, but leave me alone.
And even after that 50 minutes, we were like, well, let's make sure on the next one we're like good on time. And I think we just probably need to give up on being good on time.
Yeah, you get it.
Whatever. So that was our opening segment. And now we're going to transition into our next segment, which is called L of the Week, where we take a moment.
L of the Week.
Yeah, we take a moment to talk about something that we messed up in. And so my L of the Week is recently I was going for a run, which, by the way, don't let me fool.
Nice, man.
Don't let me fool anybody.
Cool.
I don't run that much. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to run. Me and my wife, we live in a neighborhood in Seattle called Green Lake. It's actually really cool. Like, we live a couple blocks away from this park, and there's a lake if you've never been there before. And around the lake, there's a path, and it's like a little over 3 miles. And so for me, who does not run that much, a little bit of a challenging run. So typically when I go run Green Lake, I'll like run for a bit, then I'll like walk for a bit, then I'll run for a bit. I'll like do that thing, but I kind of just like enjoy it. I like being outside.
3 miles is a lot.
Bro, it's a lot. And for me, I don't run that much. So like I'm getting out there.
For me, I struggle with 0.3 miles.
Bro, for me, I just struggle getting to the park from my apartment sometimes. So, but I get out there, listen to a podcast. I'll listen to our pod. No, I'm kidding. Do not. I'm not out there running to our own podcast.
You should.
That would be hilarious. But you know, maybe get motivated, you know, be a leader.
Yeah.
So like out there just running around and, listen to some music, listen to the podcast, just love being outside. So recently I went for a run and it was one of those Seattle days where you're like, the weather is just going to like, it could go either way. But it was looking good. It was looking like, you know, not sunny, but partially cloudy. And I thought we'd be fine. And, I was wearing like a long sleeve shirt. I'm like, I'll be chill. And my wife said to me, she's like, are you sure you don't want to wear like a windbreaker jacket or like even like a hoodie or something just in case it like does rain? And I was like, oh no, like we're chilling. Like I even looked at the weather app, like it said that there was like a percentage of rain in the future, but it was like kind of a low percentage. And so I was like, cool, I'm going for it. So I go run and typically.
Also, shout out to the weather app and the weatherman. There's no other occupation that you could do that you could be wrong that amount of times.
This is so real.
And still have a job.
This is a great take.
Any other occupation out there, if you were wrong as much as the weatherman or even the weather app,
yeah,
you would be completely fired. But yet, they're not.
Weatherman, big fan of episode 2. Big fan. Episode 2 is about being wrong. If you haven't listened to it before, not a big deal. So for me,
that got me. Oh, geez.
So for me, I'll typically get like halfway around Green Lake at best. So like 1.5 miles in and I am gassed. I am done. So I get halfway around Green Lake. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to switch from music to podcast. I'm just going to enjoy a nice walk for a bit. Maybe I'll pick up the run again. I'm not mad. I'm just happy I'm outside.
It's great.
And it starts dumping rain. Like when I say like dumping rain, like, you know, like if you live in Seattle, like sometimes there's just like this constant mist. You kind of just like deal with it. Like, yeah. I don't need an umbrella. Yeah. This was like, I need
like a moldy dew.
Yeah. Like this was like, I need an umbrella type of rain.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, now I'm either forced to walk because I'm exhausted and just get soaked.
Like rain, like an R&B music video rain.
Bro, like literally you would think I was in a shower. Like it was just like coming down. Like I give it 30 seconds, I'm just soaked. Okay. Like I'm so soaked. So I keep running and I'm like, you know what? I just, at this point, I have to just go for it. So I'm running. At least the benefit of the rain was the fact that it probably covered up how much I was sweating. But it was like the worst thing. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? Like I'm out here. I'm just going to keep going for a run. I'm going to make the most of it. Like, I'm just going to kind of enjoy this for what it is. Like, I live in Seattle. I live in this beautiful place. And what kind of blew my mind was I was like, typically, like I grew up in California. Like if it starts raining in California, not to like now transition the story, but like when it starts raining in California, you just like head inside. You're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. I'm not enjoying this. Like there will be another day because there's so many sunny days. But one of the things I love about Seattle is when you get out and it's raining, there's people that's like, do you know what? Like, I'm not going to let this rain ruin my day. I'm just going to enjoy it. Like, it's not like it started to rain when I was running around Green Lake and people just started bolting it to their cars. People were kind of just like, do you know what? I'm going to keep running with my dog. I had my dog with me. My dog was like loving it. He was pumped. And it made me realize something when it comes to the atmosphere, when it comes to the environment that you're a part of. You can't always control your atmosphere, but you can control your attitude.
That's great.
I could have literally just walked home in that moment in a fit, frustrated that the fact that I didn't bring a jacket, frustrated in the fact that I even chose that day to go out for a run.
Yeah.
But I kind of had a moment where I was like, do you know what? Like, I either can make the most of this, I can just keep running, enjoy it, listen to some music. And part of what made me enjoy it was actually seeing other people out there and enjoy it. Not seeing other people get frustrated, but
great.
seeing other people just enjoying life and being like, do you know what? Like they're enjoying this circumstance that I find not so ideal. I think I can make the most of this as well.
Yeah. I love that so much. You can't control the what you're in.
Yeah.
But you can always control how you're in it.
Exactly.
And I have been in some really crappy whats.
Yep.
And I think that one of the things that got me through those whats is just realizing the only thing I'm in control of right now, because life can get really freaking frustrating when you realize how little you're in control of.
Oh my gosh, that's
when
so real.
Other people's decisions are affecting your what, you're not in control of that.
Yep.
When certain circumstances or decisions you made even in the past, you're not in control of the what on that. But the one thing you can be in control of is the how you are in it.
Yeah.
You're not in control of what you're in, but you're always in control of how you are in it.
How you're in it, how you respond,
Yep.
how you handle it, how you even talk and think about it.
Absolutely.
I think one of the most powerful things that we have that we underestimate is our words.
Yep.
And when we are in an atmosphere that is less than ideal, even how you talk about that atmosphere. Recently, me and my wife, we were kind of going through a situation where we were frustrated and we were a little hurt, and there's just kind of just some things going on. And I remember my wife.
You and your wife get frustrated?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, great.
And I remember both of us were frustrated, and we were kind of just having this conversation and voicing frustration. And I remember we had a moment and we just had this honest conversation, and we both voiced the same thing. And I think we both just noticed what we were doing. We were in the car, we're talking about the situation that's frustrating us. And we both had this conversation and basically said to each other, like, we are not going to be the people that have the attitude and are just like run from our emotions, but we are going to control with our words how we see a situation. We're not going to let emotions control us.
Yeah.
We're going to even speak, sometimes even when we don't feel it.
Absolutely.
We're going to speak life over a circumstance. We're going to speak life over a situation. And we are going to take control of this even the best we can, even sometimes when we feel out of control. Does that make sense?
That makes great sense.
One of the thoughts that I love is this idea that you talk about. And I love it so much. This idea of,
I love that you love one of my ideas. Thank you.
You get it. That's why we're doing this together.
Yeah, 6 years of friendship. I finally made it.
Imagine if we like didn't love each other's ideas. Like someone just hops on the pod is like, so like, you know, I've just been thinking about this. Wrong, terrible, just like hating on it.
We just gave production Cody, so much work when we just got really loud.
Oh my God. He just like cringed.
One of the pieces of feedback we get from a lot of people is how great the sound is on this podcast. Yeah. Shout out to production Cody for that. If you've noticed, I've pivoted. I've changed from nephew Cody to production Cody.
I like that.
Yep.
We still need suggestions from the crowd because I don't feel like we've landed on something.
Okay.
But we'll get there.
Yep.
You know.
We gave him a lot of work on that though. I'm sorry, Cody.
It's okay. But one of the things that I love that you say is there are people who are a thermometer and there are people that are a thermostat. When it comes to the atmosphere that we're in, can you, one, speak to what does that even mean and talk a little bit about why is that important?
Absolutely. You have a part to play in the atmosphere that you're in, okay? Atmosphere, you are in multiple atmosphere a day. Some of the biggest ones is going to be your house atmosphere, right? If you have roommates, if you have a family, if you have a spouse. I know we have a lot of friends that listen that are younger and live with like 3 or 4 other roommates.
Yeah.
Your occupation and the job that you work in and the team that you work on, that's a major atmosphere where we spend probably for most of us a minimum of probably 6 hours a day playing a part in that atmosphere. So every atmosphere you're in, you play a part in. If you want to or not, you can either be, we all play the role of either a thermostat or a thermometer. There is no in between. You do not have the option to not choose to be one of these 2 things. Let me tell you what they are. A thermometer, right? An actual thermometer, what it does, the role of a thermometer is to tell you what the temperature is, right? If you're sick, you put the thermometer in your mouth for a little bit, you take it out, you pull it out, and it's going to tell you what the atmosphere of your mouth, what it's currently at. The thermometer does not dictate that at all. A thermostat, however, controls your heating, your cooling, your AC in a house. Your thermostat, you can go and literally dictate what the temperature in the house is because the thermostat dictates the temperature of the atmosphere. A thermometer just tells it to you. A thermostat dictates it.
Brilliant.
And whatever atmosphere you are in currently, you have a part to play of being intentional about being the thermostat for that temperature. You have a part to play in setting what that atmosphere is like. There are so many people on teams that just sit back and play the role of thermometer and kind of just sit there and go, this isn't the best. It's like, well, what should we do? Well, this isn't the best. It's like, oh, okay, so what do you think we should do? It's 96 degrees. Okay, so as a team, if you're kind of frustrated, what do you think? How can we improve? It's 95 degrees now. Oh, okay, but what about, X, Y, Z? And then we'll kind of just sit back because if we're the thermometer, we are not in control of the things that frustrate us or we have played no part in if we feel like the team isn't necessarily progressing, winning. If we feel like it's losing, then it's not our fault. We can just sit there and tell the team it's 95 degrees. But are you being intentional about being the actual thermostat, which is setting the atmosphere? The thermostat sets the atmosphere for the room, and you have a part to be the thermostat to set the atmosphere for the team that you're a part of.
Bro, that's brilliant. By the way, can you do the it's 98 degrees voice?
It's 98 degrees.
I don't know where that voice came from, but it got me so good. But I think we've all met that person, whether it's someone that we work with, whether it's someone that maybe you live with. Hopefully it's not your spouse.
Yep.
But like maybe it's a friend.
If it is, that's okay. And you guys can work through that.
Totally. At the end of the day, I recently had someone that I respect in my life say, are you going to be a person that wasn't talking just to me, but was talking to a group of people, but are we going to be people that just present problems, or are you going to present problems and then also solutions?
That's great.
And basically kind of challenged a group of people. And he said, what if you were not just someone who brought up a problem, but you also brought up 3 solutions with every problem? Yeah. And I love that. Not just bringing up 1, but bringing up 3, being the type of person that's being proactive in how you handle something and approach something, not just recognizing what's wrong, but helping make it right, or at least help make it better.
One of the many reasons that we actually wanted to do this podcast in the current kind of seasons of life that we're in is Dylan is actually in an occupational leadership role. You get paid to sit in a leadership position. You have, crude term, but you have people under you. You have,
don't like that term.
You have, yeah, but it's a term that everyone understands.
Yeah.
You have people under you. You have a staff and a team. I have been in occupational leadership roles before. I currently am not in an occupational leadership role. I do not get paid to be a leader. My actual occupational role is I'm just a team member. And matter of fact, I am the lowest person on the totem pole from a work chart flow. And I love the fact that we can talk about being a leader from our different occupational roles, but that does not change the importance in the fact that both of us play when it comes to the atmosphere on our teams. Mm-hmm. You have a different part to play as the leader. My part to play as just a team member is just as important, if not even more important sometimes, when it comes to actually dictating the atmosphere. I think one of the greatest things when it comes to being a thermostat, one of the greatest things that helps us do that is our attitude. Mm-hmm. How I come, and you were speaking to it so beautifully, How I come into a meeting, how I come into every day, the attitude that I choose to have is going to be one of the biggest things that's going to set that the degrees, if you will, on what the atmosphere of that team is. And again, kind of speaking to some of the things we said in the beginning of this podcast today, of this episode, is the fact that no matter what your role is on the team, no matter what your role is in your current setting or situation, it is just as important for you as it is important for the person in charge to be intentional about creating an atmosphere where your team can move forward.
Can I ask you a question? You mentioned that you have been in an occupational leadership role.
Yes, I have.
Currently not in an occupational role.
Correct, and my pockets feel it.
Oh my God. But what has been something that you have learned about the role you're currently in that will actually help you? Like you've been in both. What is something that you've learned from being in both that you think will help you do this better?
Every seat has something to say.
Expand on that.
Usually when we think of a meeting, I work in an office space environment, and we go in the meeting, and usually the leader of the meeting sits at the front of the table, the top of the table. And I think that's great. If you're leading a meeting, that's a great place for you to sit. But every seat, even if it's not the leader of the table, every seat has valuable ideas, feedback, has something to say that is important for the team. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the greatest things that I'm learning right now, that I want to, when I'm back in a leadership role, quote unquote, finger parentheses, throwback, callback, when I'm back into a quote unquote leadership role, to remember how many times I sat when I wasn't the head of the table, when I had an idea or a thought, or not just me because I'm great, but just every person out there has an awesome thought. Everybody has something to contribute, no matter who they are or their role. You right now, listener, have something awesome to contribute to the team you're on. Your roommates are waiting for you to contribute the thing you've been thinking about. Your occupation is waiting for you to contribute the thing, the idea. You have something awesome to contribute. And I've been reminded in this season that every single seat has something to say, and not just something to say, but something that will be helpful if we want to hear it or not want to hear it. It will be helpful, again, in setting the atmosphere to help us move forward.
Absolutely. I think one of the big keys in this for me has been the word trust.
Yeah.
Is learning to trust those around you. And if you can learn to trust those around you, whether you are trusting the person that is leading you, or trusting somebody that you're working with, or trusting somebody that you're leading, all around trust benefits everybody.
That's great.
And that way, when someone is setting the tone, because we're all going to be in roles where we actually aren't going to be the thermostat every time.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to be in roles. We're going to be in seasons of life. This could be in relationships. This could be in work, whatever it is that someone else is actually setting the temperature and setting the tone. But to actually be big enough and to say, do you know what? I trust you. I trust the role that you hold. I trust what you're saying. I trust how you're leading. In a situation that you don't know the answer, trusting your wife. In the situation that a friend speaks up about something, like, do you know what? I trust you. And trust is such a big part of it, because like, as much as we can encourage someone, be a thermostat, you can't be the thermostat every single time. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think that's a great thought. One of the areas that I suck at this, that's one of our favorite things to do on this podcast. It's like episode 3, and I said, one of the things we do on this all the time. But one of our favorite things really just in life is to acknowledge weaknesses. And again, kind of speaking to my situation, I don't know how this became about the season of life that I'm in, so my apologies. But I'm not very good at this in the role that I'm in, because I will take the approach on a lot of days that I just don't matter because of my role, or that I can come into it not with the greatest attitude, or I can come into it not giving it my all that day because the part that I play isn't that significant. And that is a wrong attitude that has actually been affecting me as a person, and it's not helping me be the man that I want to be. It's that perspective is actually, I have caught it now making its way from my 9 to 5, if you will, into my marriage, into my parenting, into me even as a friend, and kind of just my life, this idea of like, well, this moment doesn't really matter.
Wow.
Or there's other people on my team that are better at me. I'm currently in a place, and this is me just getting really honest, I'm currently in a place that when it comes to kind of the goals and targets we have to hit on my team, I'm kind of consistently at the bottom. And so that's something that I'm even having to wrestle with is, well, do I care that I'm at the bottom? Is that's kind of just my place? So then even coming from that perspective of, well, no, I still have a massive part to play, even if my targets aren't being hit. Yeah. Like I still am the type of man and leader that I still have things to bring, even if a number says otherwise. And so I have caught myself as of recent allowing this idea of kind of just like, it's okay if I don't give my all today, to not just affect me now when I'm on my laptop doing something for work, but now when we're hanging out and it's my wife and my son and he's doing something, I can kind of sit back, and I caught myself having that same thought of, it's okay for me not to give my all in this moment. And so I'm watching that now kind of creep in and pollute other areas of my life. And so I'm having to be really intentional right now of, you know what? I have something to bring to the table every single day. And I'm not going to let my lack of passion affect my attitude that I bring.
Wow.
Just because my passion may not be at an all-time high, that is not an excuse for me not to bring the best attitude and for me to bring my best to the atmosphere that I'm a part of every single day. Dillon, hit us with our As You Leave for this episode. We always like to kind of throw one thing out there as a quick little takeaway, and this one will be super fast, but just kind of something for you to think about, something for you to implement and apply to your life.
As you leave, what is one area that you can set the tone in? Ooh. And as I talk to everybody, even think about what we just said, the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat. So maybe even ask yourself this: is there one area that I'm currently a thermometer that I have the potential to be a thermostat, where I can set the tone and I can help set the mood and the attitude in the atmosphere that I am a part of? I think there's an opportunity here for every single one of us to adjust our attitude, to adjust our perspective and how we are handling an atmosphere. I think there's room for all of us. There's room for me. I think there's room for you.
Well, thanks for saying that, man. Like, I just get offended. There's for sure room for me. Hey, we love you so much. Yeah. Again, it means so much to us.
For real.
We are so honored that you would take the time to listen. Every time I say this, I feel like a Southwest flight attendant, like who flies Southwest anymore, you know?
Thank you so much for joining us.
We know there's tons of airlines out there for you to choose, but thank you for choosing us. Southwest, where you don't get a seat, but you probably only paid $80 for this ticket to New York. So you're welcome for the crappy experience. But thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Southwest, one of our sponsors. Like, we're doing that.
But you low key hated on them.
Yeah, you
not anymore.
You get it. B12. We want to thank you for taking time to listen. We hope that this has inspired you, and mainly we hope that you walk away knowing that you have a massive potential inside of you, that there's a great leader inside of you. It may be dormant. Mount St. Helens is a dormant volcano, but guess what? It is still a volcano. So we love you. Have a great day.
Wow.
You like that one?
Love you all.
Just ended with something great. Follow us on all the things. Goodbye.